Hello and welcome back. Today, we are diving headfirst into one of the most mind-blowing topics out there, the absolute masters of survival. We're going to meet the most resilient forms of life you can imagine, organisms that are not just surviving, but actually thriving in conditions that would instantly wipe out almost everything else.
So let's start with the big one, the question that frames this whole explainer. What are the absolute limits of life? I mean, where's that line where biology just gives up and says, nope, can't do it? Well, as you're about to see, that line is way further out and a lot stranger than we ever thought possible.
You know, this quote from our source material really just nails it. We have this idea that life is delicate, fragile, but the truth is, it's incredibly tough. Evolution has come up with solutions to problems that are straight out of science fiction. Life doesn't just find a way to hang on, it finds a way to master the most hostile places imaginable.
Okay, for our first section, let's explore the world of extreme temperatures. We're talking about everything from being frozen solid for months on end to casually walking on surfaces hot enough to literally cook an egg. Some organisms have become true masters of their thermal world. Let's see how they pull it off.
So here you have it, two opposite ends of the spectrum. On one side, you've got the wood frog, which can literally turn into a frog sickle and then just come back to life. And on the other, the Sahara silver ant, an insect that treats the scorching desert floor like its own personal highway. Two completely different, extreme challenges and two totally brilliant biological solutions.
So let's break down how the wood frog does this, because it is wild. When winter gets serious, this frog doesn't just get cold, it completely shuts down. No heartbeat, no breathing, nothing. But here's the magic trick, step 2. Its liver starts pumping out massive amounts of glucose, which is basically sugar. This floods its system and acts as a natural antifreeze, protecting its vital cells from being torn to shreds by ice crystals. Then, when spring finally arrives, it just thaws out and hops away. It's biological cryonics perfected by nature itself.
Now let's talk about the heat. The Sahara silver ant is a masterpiece of thermal engineering. It hunts for food on sand that gets up to over 60 degrees Celsius. So what's in its toolkit? Well, those shiny silver hairs aren't just for looks. They have a unique triangular shape that makes them amazing at reflecting sunlight away from its body. Its long legs act like stilts, lifting it up away from that scorching hot sand. And on the inside, it's got special heat-stable proteins that just don't break down at temperatures that would cook our own. It's a masterclass in staying cool when the pressure is on. Next up, we are entering a whole new realm. These are the organisms that don't just put up with the laws of physics and chemistry, they actively weaponize them. You could almost call them nature's own mad scientists. First on our list is an animal with one of the most violent, bizarre, and frankly awesome adaptations in the entire animal kingdom. The pistol shrimp. This tiny little creature packs a punch that absolutely defies belief, and it's all thanks to one special claw and a deep understanding of physics.
So just how powerful is this thing? When the pistol shrimp snaps that claw shut, it moves so fast it creates a tiny bubble of air that collapses almost instantly. And when it collapses, for a split second, the temperature inside that bubble hits 4,000 degrees Celsius. Just let that number sink in for a second.
Yep, that's right. For a fraction of a second, this little shrimp creates a pocket of heat that is hotter than the surface of the sun. The collapse of that bubble also sends out a massive shockwave, powerful enough to stun a fish or even shatter a glass jar. This is an animal that literally hunts with sound, heat, and light, all generated by pure physics.
And the pistol shrimp isn't the only creature with an explosive secret. Meet the bombardier beetle, which is basically a walking chemical weapons factory. It actually stores two different chemicals, hydroquinones and hydrogen peroxide, in separate little chambers inside its body. And when it feels threatened, it mixes them together, triggering a violent reaction that creates a boiling, toxic spray that it can aim with incredible precision. It has its own internal combustion engine. It's just an incredible piece of biological engineering.
Okay, the creatures we've seen so far are amazing, but they still more or less fit into our neat little biological boxes. Well, now we're going to look at some organisms that are so strange they force us to question the very definitions of what it means to be an animal or a plant or even what it means to be alive.
And here it is, the undisputed, undefeated champion of survival, the tardigrade, also known as the water bear. This microscopic animal is, for all intents and purposes, indestructible. The list of things it can survive is just staggering. The vacuum of space, crushing deep-sea pressures, temperatures near absolute zero, boiling water, radiation doses that would kill us 1,000 times over. It doesn't matter.
Its secret is a state called cryptobiosis, where it basically dries itself out, replaces the water in its cells with protective sugars, and just waits. It can wait like that for decades. Then you just add water and it walks away like nothing happened.
The tardigrade pushes the limits of what an animal can endure. But what about the limits of what an animal is? Well, that brings us to our next creature, which poses that exact question. This is where the lines of biology get seriously blurry. This is the emerald green sea slug. It eats algae, but instead of just digesting it, it actually steals the algae's power source, the chloroplasts, and integrates them directly into its own skin. It's a process called kleptoplasty, and it means this slug can then live off sunlight for months, just like a plant. It's an animal that has literally hacked its own biology to become solar-powered.
So why does all this matter? I mean, these are incredibly cool stories, but are they just biological curiosities? Not at all. These creatures are living lessons that are fundamentally changing how we understand biology, medicine, and even our search for life in the universe. They're forcing us to think bigger.
You know, studying these extremophiles has very real-world consequences. The wood frog's natural antifreeze could totally revolutionize how we preserve human organs for transplants. The Greenland shark, which can live for over 400 years, might hold secrets to longevity and aging. And those deep-sea tube worms, thriving on nothing but toxic chemicals from volcanic vents, they proved life doesn't even need the sun to exist.
And this all leads to a really profound shift in our thinking, which this quote from the source material captures perfectly. We used to be obsessed with finding another planet that looked just like Earth. But these organisms show us that's thinking way too small. Life doesn't need a specific cozy environment. It just needs the right molecular tools to take advantage of whatever energy is around.
And that one realization completely redefines the search for life beyond Earth. Suddenly, we're not just looking for a Goldilocks planet anymore. We're now looking at places we never would have seriously considered before. Could life exist in the hidden oceans of Jupiter's moon, Europa? Or near the chemical-rich hydrothermal vents of Saturn's moon Enceladus? The tardigrade proves life can survive the harshness of space. The tube worm proves it can survive without light. All of a sudden, the possibilities are so much wider.
And that brings us to our final thought. We share a planet with solar-powered slugs, shrimp that create temperatures hotter than the sun, and creatures that can sleep for decades in the vacuum of space. And that's just a tiny fraction of what evolution can do. So if this is what life looks like on just one world, what in the universe awaits us out there?